Hi everybody, Adam Libman, and in this video, I would like to discuss how Rolex authorized dealers use Rolex as the front end to their jewelry business, and to show you how every successful business should use this strategy in their business, because it's actually really a proven method for success. So first off, I want to just highlight how Rolex distributes their inventory. What Rolex does is they have authorized dealers in different various places in the country based on population that sell their inventory. And only they can sell their inventory at what's considered brand new. The moment another jewelry dealer sells a Rolex, even though it's never been worn, it's still considered used, pre-owned. It's considered the gray market. So the only way you can buy a brand new Rolex is through a Rolex authorized dealer. And one of the interesting things about a Rolex, which I'm wearing today, is that they're supposed to sell them at MSRP. They have to sell them at MSRP. Oh, Evan, are you asking the question, what's MSRP?
Yeah, what's MSRP?
Yeah, you can ask questions, Evan, throughout the video. Actually, it's a good back and forth. So MSRP is, I believe it stands for suggested, well, anyway, it's the price that you're supposed to sell it at. So for example, Rolex says, I want you to sell this watch at $10,000. So you're supposed to sell it at $10,000. The manufacturer sets the price at which it's sold to the public. And that's called MSRP.
Okay.
But what happens, Evan, and this is interesting, is sometimes the market demand is much higher than the MSRP. So the fair market value in certain cases can be higher. Oh, Evan, are we getting, remember?
Yeah.
Let's get that clean. Is the angle good? Okay.
Yeah, but you also can't lean forward all that much.
Okay, Charlie Mac. Okay. So what happens is that in some cases there's a market imbalance where the actual fair market value is actually greater than the MSRP. So I'll give you an example. Let's say Rolex says you should sell this watch for $10,000. But then what happens is the market says, oh no, I'll pay $15,000. And that happens all the time with the Rolex brand. So for example, there's certain Rolexes, especially the Submariner steels, where let's say that they go for 10,000, but there's some cases where the market is actually, we'll pay $20,000 for that same watch. Okay? Right? Mm-hmm. So authorized dealers must sell at MSRP. But they know that they're losing this margin over here, right? So what does any smart businessman do? Let's just think about it for a second. Think about it. You have something that's worth double than what you're charging.
But the resale value will go down. Wait.
No, not on these watches.
Wait.
On these watches, they'll either stabilize or they'll go up.
Stabilize will go up. Yeah, I personally would go with more money.
But they're not allowed to charge more money. That's the thing. So let me tell you what the authorized dealers do. And it actually happened to me like this. So I was working with an authorized dealer, and I said I would like a yellow, gold, green dial Daytona. And he's like, ha, 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 ha. I got people who spend $1 million a year with me who are waiting for one. So what that means is that's a little clue. And what that says is you have to buy a lot of shitty, overpriced jewelry in order to qualify to get a green dial yellow gold Daytona. So let me tell you the business principle here. What they do is called bundling. I'll sell you this underpriced thing over here if you buy my overpriced stuff over here. So it balances it out. It balances out. Now, obviously, publicly, they don't just, remember, let's hold that straight. They don't publicly like to talk about that, but they give preference to higher dollar clients. Now, on the face of it, it seems unfair, but when you consider that they have to buy a lot of overpriced, they have to buy a lot of overpriced jewelry, it does become fair. So let me tell you so let's strip away the layers on this one, Evan. And what I'd like to do is get to the principle here, because it's the principle here that I want every single business owner to implement in their own business. So it's this, is how do you draw in clients with a below market deal to sell other higher profit margin items? because this is a proven strategy. So I want to go over 5 right now where other successful businesses use this. And Evan, you actually know a couple of these. Are you ready?
Okay.
Number 1, Costco. What does Costco sell that we love?
Stuff.
Okay, what are 2 things that sometimes, well, actually, God, during the pandemic, we haven't gotten any of these. The hot dogs and the chickens. So just to give you an idea, every year Costco loses approximately $30 million. Costco loses $30 million a year selling chickens. So they're selling underpriced chickens. Why do they sell underpriced chickens? Is Costco stupid?
No.
No. It's because they're selling a bunch of higher margin items. And guess where? And this is critical, boys and girls. Okay, Evan, think about a Costco. Where are always the chickens? Where do they sell the chickens?
Near the, place you buy the other meat?
Yes, but in the store, in the location of the store.
Next to, all the toilet paper and stuff.
Yes, in relationship to the front of the store, where is the toilet stuff and the chickens?
Well, I don't know, because we haven't been to a Costco in a long time.
Well, think about it. It's all the way in the back.
Okay.
So what does that mean? You have to go through the entire store to get to the back, right? To buy their cheap chickens. So what happens is you come in, you go, you walk all the way, you buy, so that way you get the cheap chickens, and then you have to walk back, and then you go buy. So it's a way to increase average dollar transaction sale. I'll give you another example, Evan Libman. Are you ready?
Okay.
This is Walmart. Now, Walmart started with a guy named Sam Walton back in, I believe it's Arkansas. And you want to know what his trick was?
What?
It's kind of funny. He was selling women's bras. Underpriced women's bras in the back of the store. And that's actually obviously Sam Walton did many innovative things, but actually one of the key things that he did was he undersold women's bras to get the women to come to the store, to go to the back, to buy stuff, to come to the front of the store. Again,
Using psychology.
Yes.
So you go to the back, and seeing all the stuff, you get the urge to buy stuff.
Correct.
Like you do.
Like me, yes. I am the perfect example. Yes. I'll give you another example, Evan. So these are called season tickets. And I've had season tickets to many things. So the way with season tickets work, especially in the concert world, is you've got shitty bands and you've got popular bands. But you have to buy the whole season. And on average, they kind of balance out. So you have to buy the shitty ones in order to get the good ones. Because the good tickets, Evan, you can never get. Because the good tickets go to the band, the management, the label, all those people. So you never get good tickets. The only way you can get good tickets is if you get season tickets. In order to get season tickets, you have to buy the whole season because the shitty tickets subsidize the good ones. I'll give you another example with the Lakers. Not so much the Lakers because they're a hot commodity. But in order to get playoff tickets, Evan Libman, are you ready? Guess what you have to buy?
The bad ones.
Yes, you have to buy the whole season. So, for example, I've got clients of mine who only really care about the playoffs. Now, in baseball, it's 82 games.
Now, what's so important about the playoffs, per se?
Because it's exciting. It's when it matters. It's when it's meaningful. So, anyway, it's the principle.
So, all or nothing.
It's all or nothing. So, in order to get the good stuff, you got to buy the shitty stuff. And again, this is a proven concept. I'll give you another example. With Lamborghinis and Ferraris, especially, Evan, am I still in the frame?
Yeah.
Especially with Bugattis, the Chirons, and the Koenigsegg's. See, Evan, not even if you have $10 million in your hand, you cannot get a Koenigsegg or a Bugatti. You have to buy their other shitty cars. Actually, I guess Bugatti doesn't have shitty cars. But especially with Ferrari and Lamborghini, especially if you want like a Centauro or something, you have to buy the shitty cars in order to get on the list for the good cars. Does that make sense?
If you want to make money from this, you got to edit out the bad words.
All right,
I will get the monetization.
Okay. So let me tell you in a field that I personally love, which is bourbon.
Yeah, you have a lot of those.
I do. So I want to give an example of this. Okay. So this is some of the Weller line. This is their lowest end product. This is kind of their, well, actually,
Medium?
this is actually still on the low end, and this is their highest end product that they sell. What happens is, even in order to get these products, Evan, you have to sell a lot of shitty, what's called Fireball, which is not really a shitty product. It's actually really good. It's really good for the money. But what happens is so let's just say you're in the liquor business, and the way they allocate bourbon is based on the volume of sales of other alcohols. So let's just say you sell $100,000 of units, you get so much of this and so much of this.
But you don't get much of
No,
that.
you have to sell 1 million units of inventory. So this is called the William LaRue Weller Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. This is actually the 2019.
Well, then how do you get it?
Well, I'm a badass mofo. That's how I got it.
No, you got it from one of your clients.
Yeah, basically, yes. All right. So the idea here, Evan, is that the way that they've set up the liquor business based on distribution of certain beverages is you have to sell a lot of units over there to get some of this over here. And so here, let me talk about this for a second. When you have one of these, this gives you status. Even if you don't sell it, but if you have it in your store and you say, I've got this means you're cool.
So theoretically, if you drink that, you would get rid of all your status?
Ironically, yes. The more you consume something like this, you do lose your status, but you get to enjoy it. That's the irony of life. The irony of life is you enjoy something, you lose its status. That's a true statement.
It's value.
It's value. So, in conclusion, what I would like to say is so again, this is a Rolex Gold Daytona. Oh, sorry. Rolex is a successful company because they employ successful techniques to be successful. And what I'm just trying to say is that any business owner, through creativity, through some thinking, can come up with similar ways to leverage the same exact principles that Costco uses, that Lamborghini and Ferrari use, that the Lakers use, that the Dodgers use, because these are proven principles. And I think that's what's important to take away, is that what we need to do is strip away the tactics and the tools and really look at the principles, because when we look at the principles, they transcend every industry, every genre, every time period, because what's true 1,000 years ago is true 100 years ago, is true today, and it will be true tomorrow. And I think that what we need to do is spend more time learning what will work, what's always worked, what will work in the future to make you successful, to make you money, and ultimately be the gift you are meant to be. So,
basically, you should hire psychologists that they know what they're doing, like him, because he's putting a beautiful background outside. So that's giving you more reason to watch this video.
you got it. So, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and Evan, let's call it a day. Thank you very much, everybody.